Hi, fifth graders. Today we are focusing on the relationship between words. So I want you to take a look at the first statement. Alert is to aware, as elevate is to raise. What do you notice about the words alert and aware? This first part here, alert and aware. What do you notice about those words? Hopefully you're noticing that they have similar meanings or would be considered synonyms. How are the words elevate and raise connected or have similarities? They are also synonyms. So what we call two pairs of words that are related in the same way we call that an analogy or analogies. So because alert and aware are synonyms and elevate and raise are synonyms, they are comparing these two pairs as words having the same meaning or synonyms, so that would be an analogy. So how you would write it as a formal analogy, you wouldn't write it as a statement. You would write alert and then this colon right here represents the is to part of this statement. So we need to write aware. And then we have a double colon that represents, well, it kind of looks like it's separating our two pairs a little bit. So we have the is to here, this is for as, and then we would write elevate with another single colon to show this is to raise. So that is what a formal analogy would look like. And when you get to your assessment later on, this week or next week, you will see this on your assessment. So that's why we're also practicing it in the lesson. So let's go take a look at the next one. So we have comment is to remark, as cheerful is to joyful. So I want you to think about this pair and how these two words are related, and this pair and how these two words are related. If they are related in the same way, we can consider this an analogy. I am noticing that comment and remark are synonyms, as are cheerful and joyful. So we could consider this an analogy because both pairs are synonyms. So to write it formally, I would write comment, colon, remark, and then the double colon, cheerful, colon, joyful. And when I would read this formal analogy, I would use the words is to, as, and is to in place of the colons. It's kind of like an equation. It's just a symbol to represent something I'm going to say or what it means. So I would say comment is to remark, as cheerful is to joyful, even if I only had the colons in there, the symbols in there. Alright, so let's take a look at this next one. Then we have accept is to decline. I already know that those have opposite meanings. And if you remember, an opposite meaning is an antonym So in order for this to be a true analogy, that would mean my next pair would also have to be antonyms. I have timid is to confident. I know timid means shy and confident means bold. So I would also say that these are antonyms, and I could use this as an analogy. I'm going to write it the exact same way because the analogy, even though it's not synonyms, it's still comparing these words, these pairs, the same way. They're both pairs are antonyms. So I would write accept is to decline, as timid is to confident. Sure you could see that. Yep. Okay. Now I have false is to true, as shallow is to blank. So I can't just fill in any word I want there. I need to make sure that this pair is compared the same way as this pair. So I gotta go back to false and true and decide how are those words similar or different if you're thinking of antonyms. So I have false and true. False is wrong, true is right. Those have opposite meanings. They are antonyms. That means whatever word I choose to put in this blank must be an antonym of shallow. So when I think of shallow, I think of water closer to the shore. So I know that shallow is not deep. So that means an antonym could be deep. Then I will write it the formal way. False is to true, as shallow is to deep. All right. And then this last one, I know I have a blank here, but that means I have to consider how my first pair is being used. Create is to invent, as grateful is to blank. Create and invent. I know that those both have similar meanings, which means they would be synonyms. So that means whatever word I choose to put in the blank should be a synonym or a word with a similar meaning as grateful. And I think I'm going to choose thankful. So now I need to write it the formal way, which would be create is to invent, as grateful is to thankful. Okay. So looking at your assessment, you are going to have, or not your assessment, I'm sorry, your activity. You are going to have something similar to where I had the blanks. So the statement will have the first pair and then part of the pair with a blank, and you will need to fill it in. Of course, you need to consider how the words are being compared, and you will also write how they're related. You'll have two parts to it, so you'll need to write a word for your blank. It's not requiring you to write this formal way, although it would be good practice. But you need to determine how the words are related. All right, so good luck with that.